It's the Big Rich Live on the Mike Radio Show here on YouTube. The real news and strong opinions given here. A platform to chop up game with the family, you dig?
Man, oh man, I tell you what, I love that intro. I love that intro. That scratch intro is good. That's what's up. Shout out to DJ Niecy D here in Orlando who hooked that up for us. Y'all check her out. I need to get her email address. That's just ignorant, for me not to have, but I'll have it. But she did that for me. She did the intro, the scratching and stuff like that, a little old school to give the show a little bit flavor. Y'all let me know. I've heard from quite a few people that say that they like it, but I'm going to put it out now. I didn't ask before. People just gave me their opinions, but I'm going to ask now. Let me know. Let me know what you think about that. If it's what's up, or like we used to say when we was growing up, if it's dope. So what's good, people? What's good, people? Big Rich here. Welcome to the Big Rich Live on the Mike Radio Show, Hump Day Show. I tell you what, here in Orlando, man, it has been raining every day. I'm talking about raining and storming, but it's cool because we had like 2 months without rain. So all my people here in Central Florida, who's talking trash and like, I wish this rain to stop. Nah, we need the rain. I just need the rain to stop tomorrow because we have a photo shoot to do tomorrow. And I'd rather not reschedule it. We had a photo shoot yesterday that we had to reschedule and cancel for my new company. It's myself and my partner. It's Behind the Lens Productions. That's Behind the Lens Productions. The website is BT Lens with an S Productions with an S.com. That's BT Lens Productions.com. Check that out. The Twitter is, let me get it right, BT Lens Pro. BT Lens Pro. Same thing with Instagram. BT Lens Pro. Everybody knows what the social media is for this show, but if you don't, and I know it's along the bottom, but I'm going to get back. Some people say they don't like to read or they missed that particular portion, so I'm going to put it up and I'm going to say it again. Twitter is capital B, capital R, live on the mic. Our email address is bigrichliveo@gmail.com. Our website is www.bigrichliveonthemic.com. Remember, Facebook and Blackspot has changed. It's facebook.com, blackspot.com / it's digital. It is Dark Shadow Media TV. Again, / Dark Shadow Media TV. Because the reason I changed it is because it has all the shows on there. From What's the Real Deal to the Big Rich Movie Review to all of these. So it was sort of stupid to just have it the one name. And as you can see down here, and I know I said it, I think it was the What's the Real Deal show, but I now have the toll-free number. The phone lines are open. Again, this is a tape show, so when you call, you're going to have to leave your question or your comment in the voicemail, and then what I'll do is I'll scoop it up, and either if I can get it squared away the way I want to and it don't sound like crap, I'll play the question or the comment on our next show and then answer it if it's a question. If not, if I can't get it to where it is, where it sounds real good, then what I'll do is I'll read the question and I'll answer it on a Saturday show. So the toll-free number, even though it's on the bottom of the screen, it's 1-800-591-4548. That's 1-800. God dog, can I speak today? 1-800-591-4548. One more again. Our toll-free number, 24 hours, 7 days a week, is 1-800-591-4548. 4548. That's 4548. So from then on, from now on, just go ahead on and call, leave your message. Remember, these are tape shows, so it's not a live show. When we do the live show, I'll let you know. I'll put it up on it. It'll say live somewhere up here or in that camera up here. And you will know that it's live. I'll keep saying, hey, call in, and then I'll start answering some phone calls. But until then, go ahead on and use it and leave your comment and or question. Again, 1-800-591-4548. 1-800-591-4548. I'm just tongue-tied today. I guess that's what it is, hey? We got a couple of stories that we're going to talk about. All of these stories are, well, actually 3 of the 4 stories, 5 stories, 4 of the 5 stories are from your request. Either Twitter, when we went back and forth, then you asked me to mention it on the show, or it was emails. So the first one, obviously, anybody who breathes air and either goes on the internet or watches HBO know about Mr. Bill Maher and his silly ass comment and the use of the N-word. I'm not going to play it because I don't say it. My opinions on the whole deal is twofold, actually. One, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. Do I think, first, let me answer the first question. The first question was, did I think that Bill Maher is a racist? No, I don't. I think he is a privileged, powerful white man that feels that he can do and say anything that he wants. So he's liberal, he's rich, and he's white in America, and he feels that he could say and do anything that he wants. I do not think that he's a flaming racist. I really don't. And it has nothing to do with him bedding and sleeping with black women or smoking weed with some brothers and stuff like that. I just think he's an idiot. I think he's a jerk, and I think that he should have been checked. I'm glad that he was checked. Do I think that he should lose his job? No, not particularly. Not in particularly. Sometimes I feel that us as black people, we expect too much. Really, really and truly, we do. We expect too much and don't rally around to force people out. When it jumped off, apparently it was taped. I'm sorry, apparently it was live. Then they put the taped version up the next day. And at that time, that's when the outrage popped off. HBO immediately took the show down and took the show down and issued a statement. Was pretty strongly worded that, they basically did not agree with or accept his use of that word. Then Bill Maher comes out with the typical bullshit, and I curse, sorry, bullshit apology, blaming it on he didn't have enough sleep and all that type of crap. Dude, sometimes you could look at people when they say, especially that word, if you let that word slip and then you've never said that word before on a regular basis, even around black people, because some ignorant ass black people allow or give a pass to some certain white people to say that word around them. You follow what I'm saying? To say that around them. I used to date this female. Actually, she was a fiance of mine that I was supposed to marry before I got back together with my wife, and she's Caucasian. And her son, her son is half Caucasian, half Hispanic, right? And he had, most of his friends are black. So we was in my car one day. I'm not using any names and stuff like that, but we were in my car and I was sitting in the front. He was sitting in the back. He was on the phone with one of his boys. And the word came out and I just cringed. It really wasn't nothing for me to say, but I just cringed, and I was like, I understand there was no malice in it. That's what, you got to pass. You know what I'm saying? We used to call it a kitchen pass. You got to pass to speak like us because you dress like us. You hang out with us, but see, you ain't us. You know, there's one word in the English dictionary or the English vernacular that white people cannot use, and that's it. I would love to get to the point where black people would not use that word. And see, I really don't jump on a lot of black people who use that word amongst themselves as long as they're not using it in front of company. Because I used to be that person. You know, I used to be that person where we throw it around amongst ourselves, you know what I'm saying? But not in front of like company, you know? But when I hear it out in public in front of company, I cringe. So am I surprised? No. Am I angry? Yes. But not because of the word, the fact that he was so comfortable using the word. That's what bothered me. But then I'm also angry for people who are devastated about that word. And a lot of people sit up there and say you should not allow one word to cut you so deep. But see, what I tell these people is, I can understand if you say the word fat, right? I'm not saying that no heavyset or obese person has gotten their ass kicked or maybe killed and they were yelling fat ass or whatever. But black people were murdered with that word. You follow what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like people just threw that word out. Black people were lynched, were castrated, were jailed, were killed, were raped with that word. You follow what I'm saying? So it takes a different tone. I would not be surprised if there is a word in the German vernacular that, if said to a Jewish person in Germany or somebody who had had, you know, family members that were killed in the Holocaust, that might cut them deep. You follow what I'm saying? Cut them deep. And I ended by saying this. D.L. Hughley, you know, he's a comedian, but I think he's very socially conscious. I listen to him. You know, I respect him a whole lot. He said, we don't want nothing different. You know, we don't want anything different or anything more than anybody else. The fact of the matter is, you know, if Bill Maher, which he wouldn't have said it because I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's Jewish, but if he's not Jewish or he wasn't Jewish and he was to say something, a Jewish slang, he would have been castigated. He would have been fired. If he had said a homophobic term, he would have been castigated and maybe fired. It is only when people say the N-word, yeah, they're castigated, but they're given a pass, and a lot of times. So it's like, be consistent. Be consistent. If you would fire somebody because they said something homophobic or something that was derogatory, anti-Semite, if you will, then do the same thing that you would do when they use the N-word. That's my whole thing. Consistency. So if you wouldn't fire somebody, so if you say, okay, somebody can get on TV and say something anti-Jewish and get castigated, have to apologize, but nothing else happens, okay, then that should be the same. Okay, then I can accept that. You know, because I'm like, it's the same across the board. You know, look at the comedian who had the fake Donald Trump's head. I just thought it was creepy. I thought it was creepy as hell. And I feel that she went over the top. I think she was trying to make a joke, you know, and I do believe she probably can't stand Trump like a bunch of us. The majority of the country can't stand him. So, yeah, it has some vitriol to go with it. She went too far. She apologized, and she did a video apologizing. She didn't release a statement like Bill Maher, non-apologetic ass, because Bill Maher can give a damn. He can care. They probably told him, well, whoever it was, hey, look, this is what we need to do. Boom. This is what we're going to send out. He probably didn't even come up with it. Maybe his publicist came up with it. But at least she got on in front of a camera and basically poured her heart out. I was like, look, I fucked up. My bad. You know what I'm saying? And what happened? They fired CNN, fired her. You know, her career's on life support, all of this type of stuff. See the difference? You see the difference? You know what I'm saying? So Miss me with that shit that, everything is fair and all that type of crap, and people shouldn't be politically correct, or people shouldn't act. You always talk about politically correct when it's somebody other than you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel. Like I said, do I think he's a racist? No. Do I think he should be fired? No. But I think he needs his ass kicked. I do need that. I do know that. And I know I said I would leave it on that, but and I'm going a little bit longer, but I'm disappointed whenever somebody white, on high profile, says the N-word. You got a whole bunch of black people coming and caping for them, saving them. We go back years to when the tape came out of Hulk Hogan, who I loved. I worshiped Hulk Hogan when I was young. Came out with him using the N-word with vitriol. You had The Rock, who is, you might as well say black. I mean, his mama's Fiji or Samoan, and his daddy black. He black. Dennis Rodman, crazy as hell. Caping for him. This time with Bill Maher, you got Dr. Michael Eric Dyson caping for him. My thing is, if we boys cool, I'm not gonna roast you, but I'm not gonna sit up there and save you neither. Because obviously he was ass. So I'm gonna say, look, that's my man. He's better than that. I'm pissed off that he said it. I called him when I heard it, and I told him so. I said, you on your own on this. You my man, I love you to death, but you fucked up. And you need to pay the consequences. You need to come out with a better apology. That's how you say it. That's how you give tough love. Not the, oh, well, this is not the person I know. Okay, what the hell does that mean? That means you caping for him. And we need to stop that. We need to get away from that. So I ran over that. So maybe I'm going to take a couple of my stories out because I don't want this to be too long. Let's get to something that's positive. You remember I did my movie review Monday on Wonder Woman, a great movie. I gave it a 9. Only reason I didn't give it a 9.5 is because Superman with Henry Cavill, I gave him a 9.5, and I'm just Superman. Superman's just my man. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't do it. But we just found out that stateside, Wonder Woman movie made $103+ million in the 4 days. That's Thursday through Sunday, which is awesome. I am very happy and glad that it happened. This is by 15 million, I want to say. It's the highest grossing film by a woman director. You had a woman lead. I enjoyed that. I'm not going to get all into my reviews and opinions. Look down at the link description below. I'll put the link to that if you haven't seen it. So that's great. It's great. Everybody loving Wonder Woman. I don't know how many memes I've seen and people are already saying that they're going to the next Halloween party as Wonder Woman, which is great. That's great news. But that leads me into my next story, which is sort of similar, and I'll try to tie it in. It says Delaware House set on a final vote on abortion rights, right? And I remember I was thinking, somebody said this to me, and I was like, abortion rights? I'm like, in 1973, the Supreme Court took care of that. But then when I read, because it was, let me see who did, Associated Press, they posted it, and it basically said that the House and the Senate of Delaware are basically solidifying or covering the state because Trump says that he wants to put judges in place to overturn Roe v. Wade. So basically what they're doing is they doing a umbrella, a cover to protect women's rights. And you might ask me, well, Rich, what does that have to do with Wonder Woman? What it has to do with Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman, everybody runs and says that, they love Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is a hero, is the epitome of a woman, is what a woman needs to be. But yet and still, you still got in real life, you still got men trying to decide what a woman can and cannot do with her body. First, before I even go on this, before I get a whole bunch of emails and crap, I do not approve of abortions. I wouldn't get one. You feel me? However, what I do feel is there's only one thing that each and every one of us come in this world with and leave with, and that's your body. Your body is your temple. Your body belongs to you. And I find it very ironic after a weekend where everybody came together, not everybody, but a large amount of people came together to celebrate this movie and go see this movie. But then Monday morning, now we sitting around here again trying to tell women what they can and what they can't do with their bodies. There is a problem. There is a problem. I've said this before. There is a problem when you look at pictures of politicians where you see predominantly men, predominantly white, and they are sitting there debating on what a woman should do with her body. It is amazing to me. It truly is. It is so amazing to me that women allow this to be done. Now, I understand there's different types of women. You have old school women and all, and that's not a bridge that I'm going to cross as far as man's position and woman's position and all that type of stuff there. I understand with women, there are a certain segment of women that's like, well, look, my husband is my king. He's my leader. He's the head of household, this, that, and the third. I understand that. But there comes a time where you have to stand up for your own rights. You have to stand up for your own business. And my thing is, just because you don't want to do it does not mean that you have the right to stop other people from doing it. But see, now it's gotten to the point now that you have the internet and you can do your own research if you're of the conscious community, and you starting to realize it's a little bit more than what we thought it was. It's a lot more than what we thought it of. And you might be, Rich, what are you talking about? Abortions, if you look at Margaret Sanger and abortions, and I know if you look at Wikipedia, it'll say what the controversy was, but then it'll say that it's a conspiracy theory that Margaret Sanger wanted to annihilate black people, by putting abortion clinics in the black neighborhood. That could have been or not. I don't know. I've seen facts that she said she did one way. I've seen facts where people say that it didn't. It was just misinterpreted, whatever the deal is. But the fact of the matter is, you always sit up here and talk. Well, you always hear people say, oh, well, we don't need to have abortions. Well, why not? Why not? It is definitely not because abortions are being used by black and brown women. No, abortions are being used by far by white women. So now you have a situation where you have the males looking at annihilation of the species. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, Rich, you blowing in the wind. No. I'm not standing in the front of a train and spitting in the wind and hoping that it don't hit me. No. You just look at it. Just look at it. Why? Why would these males want to abolish abortions? They don't want to take care of them kids. No, they understand that as long as abortions are legal and the largest portion of abortions are being performed on Caucasian women, it is now stunting the growth of the Caucasian race. I really could think about it. Just humor me for one quick second. If, let's just say, the roles were reversed, where it was predominantly black and brown women who were using the abortion clinics, right? You think they would give a damn? They'd be like, nah, just go on, keep murdering them. That's cool. And it's not a problem. But they looking at the numbers. Every other race is growing except for theirs. So they're understanding. And it's not only abortion, it's the fact that a lot of Caucasian women are deciding not to have kids, not to give birth to kids at all, because they want their piece of the pie, if you will. So that's a little, if you want to say conspiracy theory, it is what it is. I mean, just look at the numbers. Just do your own research. I always say, do not believe me because I said so. Don't believe me because I said so. Go and do your own research and look at the numbers. It'll surprise the hell out of you. But I just feel that we should mind our own business. You follow what I'm saying? We should mind our own business. I always said I do not believe in religion at all. Oh, actually, let's back up. I never said that before. What I said was I'm not very religious. I'm just very spiritual. Now I said I do not believe in any one religion at all. There's just too much bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's too much hustle going on out there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I sit back. Me and the wife went to, she was doing, going to a convention over the weekend. So I had to drop her. So as we go into the convention, it was on a one street corner. And the street corner is Apopka Island and Conroe Windermere going south. There was no less than 5 churches. I'm talking about big churches, not small churches, big churches between that intersection and the next light on both sides of the road. And I remember thinking, I was like, all of these people over here, and it was packed because it was Sunday. It was packed, right? I'm like, all of these people in here holding their heads high and their arms high and talking about how they into Jesus, they love Jesus, but got so much hate and mistrust in their heart for people who don't look like them. On all sides. You know what I'm saying? How do you put yourself up as a Christian? How do you say that? Or a Muslim, or a Protestant, or Mormon, whatever. How do you say that, but then you can't stand people who don't look like you, people who don't act like you? What I say is, if abortion is wrong, if homosexuality is wrong, if in some of these crazy ass churches, if interracial dating is wrong, then come Judgment Day, they gonna have to deal with that. Now I know I'm gonna get some pushback when people say, "Well, damn, Richard, if you take that analogy, if you take that position, then what if I was to say, well, if a man having sex with a child is wrong, then I shouldn't do anything. I should allow come Judgment Day." No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about things that differences of opinion are so high. You follow what I'm saying? You have people who can articulate why there shouldn't be same-sex marriage. Do you have people who a lot of people, or the same amount of people, articulate what they should? You have people that can articulate why interracial dating is wrong, and vice versa. But it is not something when you sit up there and be like, well, it is self-explanatory that a grown man, it's common sense that a grown man or a grown woman should not be having sex with a young child because that child is not developed yet. That child does not understand what's going on. Sometimes we have to, as adults, we have to look out for people who are below us. And when I say below us, not below us in stature, not below us in economics, below us as far as how would you put it? As far as age is concerned. So I don't know. I don't know as far as I'm concerned. I just feel that, a woman should have the right to decide what happens with her body. And that goes for anything. But, I digress. We'll talk about that some other thing. The last thing we're going to talk about is mass murder, if you want to say, here in Orlando yesterday. It's funny, it's Orlando, and everybody who listens to this channel, listens to this show, understands that I used to be an Orlando police officer and just retired after 23 years. So when people hear Orlando, they automatically texted me like I know what's going on. Well, it's Orlando, but it's not the city limits. It's actually in the unincorporated Orange County, which is still considered Orlando. The killer's name was John Robert Newman Jr. This piece of work was he was an honorary discharge from the Army in 1999. For the past 20 years, he's had multiple nonviolent minor crimes. In 2014, he had an assault and battery called to this same job where he allegedly walked up and punched a coworker in the back of the head. It was interviewed. There was no visible signs of injuries, and just like pretty much normal, no charges was filed. Well, he decides to get up one day after he was fired from this particular awning company, and he decided to go and do a murder suicide. So he walked in the back. He snuck in the back of this warehouse, right? And let me see here. Yeah. The shooting began when Newman slipped through the rear door into the cavernous. I'm not gonna pronounce the name. It's Fama, something like that. Fama Incorporated Factory, an area larger than 2 football fields where awnings were stitched together for recreational vehicles. He paused at least once to reload. 7 other workers inside at the time were unarmed. He was basically shooting these cats in the head. He shot everybody in the head, 7 people, shot them in the head, then shot himself. We need to figure out. No, I'm not even going to say figure out, because I was going to say we need to figure out what's wrong with people. I'm not even going to say that, because that's not what we need to figure out. What we need to do is we need to finally agree that there is a far greater threat to us from from domestic terrorists than they are coming from abroad. You think about it. Even the Pulse incident from Orlando last year. Yeah, the guy was Muslim. Yeah, he was ISIS sympathizer, but he was born here. He was bred here. He lived here. He worked here. And then you go from the Columbines to the what's that, Newburgh? Oh shoot, the kids. I'm so sorry. The kids from the daycare that were killed, and the 7 from South Carolina who was killed in the church. And so if you add all of that up, that's our biggest threat. That's our biggest threat. And we need to use these resources to figure that out. Now, I understand you have a constitution that you have to deal with, and I'm for the Constitution, but we can't do stupid shit to allow. Now the Republicans are trying to roll back people who roll back people who are on the list that can have guns when they have mental issues. You know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. So basically what you're saying, and I don't want this to get into like an NRA, Second Amendment type filibuster, because that's not what I'm trying to do, at least not on this show. But I just sit up there and say, basically what you're saying is that the profits of the gun manufacturers are worth more than the lives of the people who have guns who shouldn't. This is what kills me. You want to, like the drug trade. You talk about the drug trade. Okay. Violence might cease a little bit if you put some of them resources, instead of in the drug trade, in the gun running trade, to get the guns out of these kids' hands. Things might get better if we just say, okay, look, if you having a nervous breakdown, you can't have a gun. People, this is what kills me. You got people who will go out and they will protest people, going back to my last segment, stand out all day long in front of an abortion clinic to stop people from getting a legal procedure done. But they live next to neighbors who make pipe bombs in their garage and don't say shit. This is what I'm talking about. The reason I even brought this up, one, I was asked about it, but it's just funny how they interview people who live next to this guy. They've all said he was weird. He was antisocial. He was sort of a creep. You know what I'm saying? I mean, okay, these are the type of people you might need to look at. Not these imaginary people who may or may not come on. One thing that has always protected us from outside, and I know I'm getting long, but one thing that's always protected us from outside terrorism and an outside war being invaded is two things. One begins with an A and one begins with a P. With a P. The A is the big old deep Atlantic Ocean. Most terrorists can't get on a boat, and they damn sure can't get on a plane to come over here. That's one. And then the P, which is covering our left flank, is the Pacific Ocean, which in certain places is actually deeper. So again, you have that buffer, and then we've always maintained some type of relationship with Canada above us and Mexico below us. So we pretty much insulated. That doesn't mean that you close your eyes and you put blinders on. You always looking, but we need to catch the cancer from within, and just not these Islamists, these Islamic extremists. We need to deal with the Klan. We need to deal with the skinheads. We need to deal with the outlaw motorcycle gangs. All of this type of stuff that's going rampant within the United States. But we spending billions and billions and billions of dollars to go across the pond and, excuse my French, fuck with somebody else. Really? Really? I mean, Chris Rock said something in one of his movies. The name of it, it was I can't even remember the name of it, but he was going for president, right? And during one of the debates, he was like, "Y'all, we're spending billions and billions of dollars to protect us from people who we went over there and fucked up and fucking with in the beginning. That ain't right." You know, we have to really take a fundamental look and try to get rid of or exercise or exorcist. Is that a word? Perform an exorcist. There you go. Of the cancer within the United States. Oh, this is going to continue to happen. It really is. But, you know, it is what it is. That's pretty much it. But that's going to be the end of my show. Sorry it went a little bit longer. Like, share, and subscribe on this video. Hit the thumbs up button if you like it. Thumbs down button if you don't. Leave a comment if you feel like it. Email us. Share this to your social media platform. We sure appreciate it. If you got a little time, just go ahead on and retweet or reshare. It's always a pleasure to spend a little time with you guys. I see you guys Friday. I do not know what the topic for What's the Real Deal is going to be. I'll probably find that out within the next day or so, some being in this 2 days away. So in the meantime, in the between time, stay blessed, stay safe. Please stay safe. Peace. I'm out of here. Oh shoot, let me forget. Did I forget to say stay woke? Please stay woke. Peace. I'm out of here. Yeah.